It's been a rough couple years for Total War fans, all right? I'm not gonna lie, we've been taking a beating. The excitement that usually greets a new Total War release was MIA, gone, when Warhammer 3 hit the shelves in 2022 with a wet fart. By May, most players went back to Warhammer 2. I mean, does anybody like the Realms of Chaos campaign? Then the controversy over the cost of Warhammer 3 DLC added fuel to the dumpster fire. The Chaos Dwarves DLC costs almost half the price of the game itself. And then there's Total War Pharaoh, the game this video is all about. Pharaoh's release was another letdown, leaving many fans like myself feeling underwhelmed, to say the least. It was such a frustrating game for me to play and try to review, because on one hand, the core gameplay was solid enough, the battles were an improvement over Troy's, and the campaign gameplay was easily the deepest that we've had since at least 3 Kingdoms. Rest in peace, King. And I've been dying for some deep, meaty campaign gameplay because after all, that's where we spend most of our time in a Total War game. But Pharaoh's campaign map?
You blew it!
Total War Pharaoh promised a journey back to the Bronze Age collapse. This is an era ripe for the epic strategy that Total War games are known for. I'm a huge simp for this setting. It's a world on the brink of chaos, reminiscent of the apocalyptic struggles we faced in Total War Attila. In Attila, we navigated the fall of Rome, defending against the onslaught of Attila the Hun, the self-styled Scourge of God. Similarly, in Total War Pharaoh, the mighty civilizations of Egypt, Hatti, Assyria, Mycenae in Greece, and Babylon were meant to weather their own end-of-days scenario, desperately trying to survive the existential level threat that was the Sea Peoples. It's a time in history that doesn't get enough attention, frankly, and in my opinion, it's even more apocalyptic than the fall of Rome. But when Pharaoh launched, it did so with an infuriatingly limited scope. Despite an admittedly sprawling map, the game's world was confined to Egypt, the Levant, and an oddly truncated portion of Anatolia. I mean, seriously, what the hell is that? With a price tag of $60, it's no wonder people felt they were getting a saga game akin to the earlier Total War Saga Troy or Thrones of Britannia, rather than the full, major historical title that it was marketed as. When CA marketed the game as a full-sized, full-price title, I expected a game that matched the scale and depth of previous titles like Rome 2, Medieval 2, or Empire. Not this eldritch horror-looking campaign map with only 3 cultures. Call it what it was, the game was a saga-sized title with a full-size price tag. They tried to pull a fast one, period. I straight up just gave up writing my review halfway through because it was turning into a giant rant about missed opportunities and tone deafness from CA. But with all that being said, the shit days might finally be ending. Yes, you heard me right. Total War Pharaoh is on the brink of a major transformation. Rather than taking Pharaoh out back and shooting it in the head like they did with 3 Kingdoms, Creative Assembly announced a map expansion that's going to significantly enlarge the game's world, bringing in the rest of Anatolia, Greece, and Mesopotamia. We'll finally be able to immerse ourselves in the ancient civilizations of Babylon, Assyria, Troy, Mycenae, Egypt, and the Hittites. Don't forget the Canaanites as well. The main cast of the Bronze Age Collapse, get this, will finally be playable in the Bronze Age Collapse video game. But of course, the expansion won't stop at just new territories. CA is also introducing 80 new and 70 reworked units to represent the new cultures. Now, there's an asterisk there at the reworked units, because those who are familiar with Total War Troy will see that the Greek and Trojan units have made their way over to Pharaoh once this new update launches. Babylon and Assyria, on the other hand, will be equipped with these brand new units. I'm really curious to see the Assyrian and Babylonian unit designs. I know I'm dating myself here a little bit, a lot of it, but I was a big fan of the Babylonian faction's visual design in Age of Empires Online. In addition to the units, there's also something for the ears coming alongside this update as well. Creative Assembly confirmed in their recent Q&A that at least part of Troy's soundtrack will be ported over to Pharaoh, at least when playing in the Greek and Trojan areas of the map. Brand new music for Mesopotamia will also come alongside this update, so looking forward to that. They're also bringing some realism to Total War Pharaoh as well, with the introduction of the Dynasty system. While we're still waiting on the finer details of this system, one thing is clear. The era of immortal faction leaders is over, and good riddance to that, because immortal faction leaders in a historical game is immersion breaking as hell in my opinion. Leaders will now be mortal, and securing a line of succession will apparently be a mechanic that we'll get to play around with. However, the jury is still out on whether that means we're actually going to get a family tree or what this is going to look like exactly. Overall, guys, this is going to be a chonky update. Total War Pharaoh is clearly going to offer a more expansive and engaging experience than it does right now once this update launches later this year. Apparently, they're aiming for the end of the summer, but they can't commit to a hard date yet. Apparently, the new map is approximately 1.8 times larger than it is now, with an increase from 181 to 349 settlements. It's going to be the biggest campaign map we've ever had in a historical Total War game, so it's a pretty big deal. Hopefully, it turns Pharaoh into a more complete experience worthy of a full-sized historical title, ironically for a price that's now lower than the smaller Total War Saga Troyes. And also lower than Rome 2's, by the way. How the hell is Rome 2 still $60? It's 11 years old, for Christ's sake. Look, as always with Creative Assembly, it's best not to get too excited until we actually get our hands on the update, because CA's ability to screw up a slam dunk is legendary at this point. But speaking just for myself here, this is the first time I've been excited for Total War content in a long time. I've been playing the Sea Peoples in Pharaoh over the past week after they announced this update, and they knocked that faction out of the park with its mechanics and its playstyles. I usually hate playing as hordes in Total War games, but they really nailed these factions. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what your thoughts are on this new update down below. I'm sure plenty of you are going to be like, I hate the Bronze Age. This game's stupid anyway. Go fuck yourself. You know, that's fine. I'll be down in the comments mingling with you guys as well. So take it easy, guys. I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.